What is going on, people? It's Matt from Liquid Loans. In this video, I'm joined by an absolute gent, a UK/South African Hexican. This guy has been around the crypto block a few times. He's also the first person to ever give me a super chat live on YouTube. So I thought I'd bring him on the stream. We're going to talk PulseChain, the markets, all that good stuff, and what is coming down the pipe. So with no further ado, Mr. JustHODL.
Matt, absolute pleasure to be on stream. And yeah, before we get started, I just want to say, I know we spoke about it in the green room, but congratulations to you and the team. $45 million, I think I last saw. Incredible stuff. And yeah, guys, the hard work that you guys have put into it, I think shows.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I brought you on because we've hung out a few times on stream and in person. You know, you've been in crypto for a while. You're a very level-headed person, which you need in this space. So I appreciate those comments, and yeah, a lot of hard work coming to fruition. Lots more hard work to do. But yeah, man, great to have you on. Great to have you on. And I'm sure a few people know who you are because you're kind of quite a prominent UK Hexican. But for the people that don't know you, maybe we could get just a short bio and background about you and yourself and how you got into crypto and that good stuff.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, I mean, originally from South Africa, moved to the UK in 2019. Have a corporate job, so still doing the 9 to 5, but have high hopes for that to come to an end at some point with PulseChain and everything that's launching. But in terms of my my crypto journey, that started right at the end of 2016, early 2017 was kind of end of December, early Jan. I bought my first Bitcoin. I had no idea what I was doing. I just started working, in the corporate world, and I just started investing in stocks and things like that. And I think I saw somewhere number go up. You know, that's always the biggest marketing ploy is the number goes up. And decided, yeah, let me just go ahead and buy my first Bitcoin. And I think it was about $1,000 at that stage.
Wow.
And
what year was that? Sorry,
2017. So this was right in the beginning of January 2017. And within the next few months, it went. I can't remember the exact prices, but it must have gone to like 3,000 and then 5,000. And I thought, wow, I'm a genius. This is so easy. And then after the price started to go up, I started to dive deep. And I think it's actually a personality trait we can discuss maybe a bit later. But there's definitely a sort of Hexican personality trait that I find that a lot of the people in this community have, that firstly free thinking and all that, but then also diving deep into things. And I'm just one of those, like, when I find something that interests me, I go super, super deep. So I just spent the next few months reading everything about Bitcoin, reading the books, YouTubing everything. And that's where I stumbled across Richard. He was pumping my bags. He was, attacking Roger Ver and the Bitcoin Cash guys, because in those days that was the big, threat for Bitcoin was Bitcoin Cash. So I dived super deep into that and just got super addicted to it. And then towards the end of 2017, I also got sucked into the altcoin pump, which, I'm sure the guys who were around in those days, it was quite a crazy bull market.
ICOs and everything, right?
Yeah, ICOs, suck it into all those promise coins and things, made money, lost it all, held my bags through the bear market, which, went to not much. But I mean, I look back at that 2017 journey, and I think a lot of what I learned there has like battle hardened me for now. And I don't chase any of that stuff now. I've learned the lessons, the pump and dump coins, the promise coins, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway, and after the bear market of in the bear market in 2018, I kept kind of digging away and trying to make money and things. And I was always looking for the yield bearing asset, and I was actually involved in one. Richard speaks about it on his stream. It was the very first Hourglass game. It was, some people who were around in that time might know it, Proof of Weekends, Power 3D. And it was one of those 10% in, 10% out, which Richard says, he uses that as the example of why they,
you've got to pay and sell,
he uses that as the example of why they don't work, because that was a failed attempt. And it was a smart contract, and it was my first kind of use of MetaMask and things. And so I was diving deep into all of that in 2018, but really was just losing money the whole of 2018. So I fell out of love with crypto a bit. In 2019 is when I would say I became a Bitcoin maxi, you could say. I sold all my altcoins and just consolidated it into Bitcoin and kept stacking Bitcoin and investing and things, but stopped watching all the YouTube videos and things in 2018, 2019. And unfortunately, that was the period that obviously HEX launched in the end of 2019. And I was still, following Richard, but I wasn't watching his videos as closely. I knew he was launching a coin, but I'd been burned so many times with the accusations around it. It's a little bit nervous. So left it when it launched and waited. I think it was till Godwell. Yeah, it was Godwell doubled the price in April after the launch, April 2020. And that's when I saw something on, maybe Richard tweeted something. I was following him on Twitter. I can't remember what it was. I thought, oh shit, I need to go and see what's going on here. And yeah, first I just free claimed my HEX. I kept the risk as low as
so you
possible.
free claimed, right?
Yeah, so I free claimed with my Bitcoin. So that's all I did to start with, and I left it for a few months. The price was quite flat actually for a few months until big payday, so it didn't really attract me to go back in. Then I think the price moved, or I don't know what it was, but just before big paydays where I did the deep dive, which I had done with Bitcoin and other crypto before, where I started to suck in all the content and understand what I was holding. And really over the next 6 months, I just kind of dollar cost averaged into HEX. And I mean, I held on to the Bitcoin because I know a lot of the Bitcoiners will understand this. You have a unit bias and you are definitely attached to your Bitcoin. So it was very difficult to part ways with it. It was actually Richard's message. I think he said it a couple of times in streams. He said, if you really love your Bitcoin, sell it into something that outperforms it and you can buy back more later. And that was kind of what got me to sell it in the end, knowing that I'm probably not going to buy it back. But yeah. And then I went all into HEX. I just basically sold everything, went all in kind of over that 6 months, really. And that's my journey into this community, which is just crazy.
Nice, man. It sounds like, well, you got in 2017, the beginning. So you've been through a bull market and then a bear market. And I guess you have to go through that kind of, like you said, having Bitcoin, then buying altcoins, making some money, getting wrecked here and there to kind of learn that those hourglass games and those, those meme coins, yes, they can pump, but if you're on the opposite side of the all-time high, it can be quite devastating.
Absolutely.
So, and the good thing is you held through the bear market, and you said you're accumulating more, right?
Yeah. I did stop for a brief period of time, just when it was kind of at the absolute bottom of the bear market. It's just, you're not sure if crypto is even going to come back. But yeah, I kept accumulating and things. But you're right. I mean, I really look back on that, and that was the education that I needed. But then I guess finding HEX was also just the relief that I needed to stop having to worry about any of that other stuff anymore. And I see my friends who I try and tell some of them, I see them still kind of like jumping into these pump and dump things. And yes, as you said, you can make money, but it's not worth it. It's just rather invest in things that have product market fit, as Richard says, that, are good assets, really.
Yeah, man. It's like you said, you kind of get like ADD, right? You're jumping in and out, and that FOMO never goes away. It's like, oh, maybe this pump or this, if I 2x or 10x, I'll get over it. But you don't, because there's always a new coin coming out. And this is how I felt when I was doing it. God, even if I found a coin that I made money on, I'm like, but there's got to be more, in the next coin or whatever. And when you get into HEX, like you said, that more mature mindset where you're staking, and it's, I guess, you're transitioning from the meme space into DeFi 2.0. It's so much more stress-free, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the big thing with those coins is you're always looking to sell, and that's where liquid loans and things also comes into it now, that we don't necessarily need to sell. But it's the same with HEX. Once I got into HEX, I realized actually you don't need to sell. Obviously, you can just scoop a bit of the interest off, but you don't need to sell your principal, which is a big game changer mentally. Because with those pump and dump and projects, promise coins, it's really about, I'm going to get in, but when am I selling? And I think that has changed with this ecosystem that we're building.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, liquid loans it's the core tenet, right, of liquid loans, and hashtag never selling. But it comes from the HEX community for sure. And when I first got into HEX, I was on Twitter and just learning about it. And someone had put like an infographic up, and it was like, I don't know, it was like the 10 commandments of HEX or whatever. It was like kind of a joke, but it was good. And it was like, one of them was never sell your principal. And when I first read it, I was like, oh yeah, that's great. Because of course you can just keep recycling and staking for longer and longer, and getting more T shares, or just claiming the interest and selling that. So it is night and day going from that meme. You go into those Telegram groups and it's just your eyes bleed with the amount of emojis and rockets and pump it. And definitely a lot more of a mature mindset for sure.
Although you say that, shout out to the HEX UK group. We do it just for banter. There's always when Moon, when Lambo.
Yeah. But obviously it's said in jest, right? Where you go in these groups and it feels like, and again, I don't want to be up here on my horse like I'm so mature. I'm obviously not. But, it feels like there's like 11 and 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds at school just pressing the button on all the emojis they can in these groups. And it's just like, this is not mature investing. So yeah, I know what you mean. Obviously you can say it in jest, but when you see it for real, it's like, this is a joke. But going back to obviously you sitting through the bear market, and obviously how, just how low it can be for everyone, because obviously everyone's bags are down and the price is going sideways or trickling down. What do you think? Do you think we're in a bear market now?
I do. I think Richard was obviously the first to say that we're in the bear market, and most people didn't believe him. I think a lot of people now think that we are. But I don't really care as much anymore, because I feel like HEX has kind of decoupled from that. Look, to be fair, we've been in a bear market, I guess, ourselves with HEX, where it's sitting at almost 80% dip at the moment. So we can't say we haven't had that, but it doesn't feel like you need to worry as much about the rest of crypto. You can kind of just focus in on what we know. And what we know is that all the metrics are pointing up with HEX. You know, if you look at all the stakers are going up, Richard's socials are all going up, the duration of people are staking is going up. And then we're seeing things like, you know, the other stuff that's being built around it, like liquid loans, like we've seen Hedron has been a successful launch. We've got PulseX and PulseChain. It's just, there's so many exciting things happening in this ecosystem and this community that I don't really care about the rest of crypto anymore. I almost want it to be in a bear market, because I might, if Bitcoin goes down to 10K, maybe I might buy some Bitcoin at 10K or some Ethereum at super low prices, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is that switch, isn't it? Where you're kind of like, well, if I'm staked and we've got all this stuff coming down the pipe, you know, this whole DeFi 2.0, but not just DeFi 2.0, it's like a PulseChain ecosystem.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of irrelevant. And if we launch in a bear market, kind of even better for price. Obviously, Richard had some tweets out yesterday. I'm not sure. I'm sure you probably did see them. What do you think about PulseChain launch date and when Pulse, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I was convinced, well, not convinced, but I thought maybe March. That was when I said a couple months ago, I was like, March. I think after seeing the tweets yesterday, look, I don't know exactly what those screenshots meant, and I don't know if someone's decoded them yet, but it does feel like maybe I'm now thinking April, May, to be honest, but I don't know. Maybe for all we know, he says, you know, V3 is live. I think as soon as he says V3 is live, then I think we know we can kind of start ramping things up and start getting our hopes up and yeah, start looking at when we're going to buy those Lambos.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the most important questions are when Pulse, when Lambo, right?
Yeah.
I think that I thought, yeah, it was going to be March, you know, and of course that's probably confirmation bias because we want it to be March, right? Because we've been waiting for, you know, the good part of a year now for PulseChain to come out. But looking at those text messages, it doesn't seem just around the corner. But again, once V3 is announced, I think HEX will start to rip because everyone wants to get that double. And we may see a run up like we did after the sack phase back in the summer. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone in the HEX community predicted that we'd be sitting at 10, 11 cents after the sacrifice and this close to PulseChain. I think we were talking about dollars a few months ago and things. I mean, that's why trading, I guess, that's why I've never really got into trading and why I think Richard, you know, says it's so difficult because you just can't predict things like this. We can estimate and we can guess, but no one really expected us to be where we are now. But I think there's going to have to be a run up because, I mean, it just makes no sense that people would be selling before, you know, the snapshot. There's a lot of elements to it that should push the price up, but at the same time, it'll probably go up when we're not expecting it. Or I do think a lot of the whales are possibly sitting and waiting. I know God Whale's sitting on a lot of USDC. Don't want to speculate on what he's going to do and what he isn't, or he or she. But yeah, I do think that at some point it's going to get, if HEX keeps dipping, there is going to be a point where the whales might step in and start buying it up again. But yeah, I think there'll be a run up before PulseChain for sure.
And do you think when mainnet goes live that HEX, pHEX, and eHEX are going to, you know, reach parity quickly, or is pHEX going to, or eHEX going to outrun one of them?
Yes, I think they'll probably reach parity fairly quickly. I mean, I don't know the technicalities behind it that well. I've obviously listened to what Richard said and people in the community, but from what I understand of the liquidity and things, I think they will reach parity fairly quickly. But maybe there's a 10% sort of difference between them. I don't know, and maybe it might take. I'm not sure if it's instant or if it takes a couple of days or a couple of weeks for that to kind of happen. I don't know if you've got thoughts on that, if what you think.
Personally, I think that we're going to see a bit of a dip. Again, this is all speculation and just my opinion, that we're going to see probably a bit of a dip on the Ethereum side as people that aren't, you know, hardcore hexagons, or, you know, they're just looking for the kind of chasing the pump. They're going to get out of eHEX when mainnet goes live and probably bridge that over or sell that for whatever and bring that over to Pulse. And then because of the fees, although the fees on Ethereum aren't too bad at the moment, obviously they're still not PulseChain prices, but they're not too bad. Have you used it recently?
Yeah, I mean, I did it to claim my Hedron and have also been buying a little bit of Hedron. It had a nice dump. I thought it was a decent buy. But so yeah, I've used it recently and it's been a lot cheaper, which is great. I think that's the bear market obviously kicking in. That's the telltale sign. Cheap
ETH gas fees. Of course, it's not going to be PulseChain cheap, which is going to be pennies. So I think the cheap fees on PulseChain, you know, I guess it's just, you know, the kind of classic response, but pHEX will run faster first because of those cheap fees. And there's, you know, you don't have to talk someone into it for hours saying, listen, I know you're going to lose $100 when you invest in this thing, you know, and you onboard new people to Hex at the moment. So yeah, I think pHEX will probably run harder first, and then probably eHEX will catch up, because I'm sure whales will see, you know, cheap eHEX as a bargain, and then there'll be some arbitrage between the two. That's how I think it'll go.
On your onboarding point, a quick shout out to Rusty, but I've been using his quote quite a lot. He said it in the Hex UK group or Telegram chat. But I've onboarded a lot of people into Hex because I obviously believe in the project and things, and the price. A lot of them have been onboarded 50 cents, 40 cents, 30 cents. So they're all well underwater at the moment. So I have become a therapist in the last few weeks. I think Rusty said that it got me.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough, isn't it, when you're telling someone, hey, listen, the fundamentals, this is the new Bitcoin, and then, you know, it's 50 cents or 54 cents, and now you're looking at, you know, 80%, or, you know, the good part of 80% down. But I guess that's crypto, right? Volatility goes both ways, and it's rough. But I guess the saving grace is you're getting a double on PulseChain, and there's no way that the news of V3 or any news on PulseChain isn't going to, you know, bump the price up. And then again, you're going to get a copy of it. So what's your play going to be when PulseChain mainnet goes live?
To be honest, I've never really been, I do like to speculate on things, but never really been much of a trader. So I am going to probably sit tight. I don't plan on selling or bridging any eHEX or trying to play that game at all. I'm just going to sit on what I have. I've sacrificed quite a lot for, you know, PulseX, PulseChain, liquid loans. I've built up a position in Mintra as well now. I mean, in Hedron, and sacked a small amount for Mintra as well. So I'm quite happy with where I am right now. I'm just going to sit and wait for everything to play out, and because there's going to be crazy volatility to start with. So I'm not going to play that game, to be honest.
You're going to stay true to your name and just HODL.
Yeah, exactly. I think some people will be able to maybe get good deals if you do get it right, but there is that you're taking that risk of trading and things, which is just, I'd rather not.
Especially if you've sacked quite a bit as well for PulseChain or PulseX. I mean, I was talking to my brother, who's obviously, he sacked for both as well, but he'd like more. He didn't, I mean, he only found out about PulseChain literally, like, I was like, listen, you should sacrifice for this. And he was like, oh, what is, he didn't really know about it last summer. Now, obviously he's been learning and he knows a lot more, and he wished he'd have sacked more. I think everyone probably watching this wish they could have, or would have done the same, you know, sacked more if they knew the fundamentals around PulseChain. So he sacked more for PulseX, and I think a lot of people are going to be doing that, where they're going to try and trade some PulseX for Pulse. Again, it's risky, right? I mean, if you got, in my opinion, if you saw 1-to-1, go for it. But maybe you get wrecked before there's a bridge, and probably if you've sacked, just sitting on your hands is going to be the best thing. But again, not financial advice. Everyone needs to do what's right for them.
I agree.
It can be.
I'm just super excited for this ecosystem to launch. There's so many exciting things happening, and to be in, you know, to think where I was in crypto in 2017 and chasing projects and things to where we are now in the ecosystem that's being built out. People that are getting into this ecosystem as their first, you know, shot in crypto are so lucky, because they haven't had to do any of the other stuff. And I think that, I really do think that, you know, it's being built with all the sort of fundamentals that Richard Hart has instilled in the community, whether it's his project or it's projects that are not under his direct control, but it's all, you know, censorship resistance, trustless, immutable, all that sort of no middlemen, all that sort of, you know, great stuff. It's what we dreamed of really when it came to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely that, you know, he dropped the pebble in the pond, right? And it's rippled out into everything, like no admin keys, immutable, you know, your keys and everything like that. And yeah, it's so exciting. Do you think it goes viral from the get-go, or do you think it's a slow burn? PulseChain in general?
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is largely speculation, but I mean, the other day I was having a look at the Telegram groups, and if you look at PulseChain's Telegram group, I mean, I might not be looking at the official Cardano one, but it looked like it was the official one from my brief look. It was, I think, 30,000 or 40,000, and PulseChain's, you know, close to 70,000. And you look at, you know, Avalanche, it's also less, and all these sort of coins have got less Telegram. So when you look at things like that, for me, that's kind of like, that shows that there's something happening here. There's a lot of users, and we know it's not, you know, we know that it's not fake users. This is organic growth. This is community. This is not bought followers and things of Telegram. So if you look at things like that, I think it might go viral a bit quicker than we think. And then, you know, when Pulse first launched, I think wasn't that bullish on this. I was bullish. I was, it's Richard Hart and things like that. But as he kind of developed the idea, because I think initially it was everyone's going to get their copy, but we weren't really sure there was going to be value in the coins. But as that, AMM FixerBot idea sort of developed, and that, there is going to be value to a lot of these coins and things, it's just, I think everyone has become more and more bullish about Pulse. And I think that in particular, as we know, we've never seen the full system state copy. I think that in particular, along with the community that we've already built with Hex and that we can see on Telegram and things, I think it could really go big very quickly, because I think a lot of people are going to go straight in, and some people will just sell, and that's going to pump Pulse because they're going to sell, and they're going to sell into Pulse, and then maybe they have to bridge their Pulse across to exit the system. But I think a lot of people will go in the beginning, the first month or two, and then I think what's going to happen is some people are going to not know that they've got these free coins, so it's going to be a staggered sort of constant growth, I think, in adoption and things, as people realize, oh look, I've got free coins on this network. And I think it's also more strategic than that, because if I think about my Bitcoin position and what Richard did, he's very smart and strategic. That was a vampire attack, that to give Hexicans free, the Bitcoin holders, free Hex. Because what happened with me is I went in and I free claimed my Hex. And then after that, I kind of dived deeper and understood the product, saw the price going up. And then what happens is you end up selling your assets into the other asset. And I think not everyone's going to do that, but a lot of people will, get their free coins on PulseChain, start to use the system and see, oh, look how cheap the coins are. And then maybe they sell into Pulse and Pulse goes up, and they look a little bit deeper into it. And I think it's going to sucker a lot of economic energy into the PulseChain ecosystem over time, as people kind of understand the system more and more. So I don't know if I answered your question. I think it's going to go viral quite quickly, but I don't know whether it's CNBC viral yet, because I think there is still some gatekeeping and things like that we've got to get through. And but I think users and adoption is just going to go up and to the right.
I think you're right. I think that all it takes is a few people to go into the SHIB Telegram, right? Or the, MRI, this new coin that's been pumping hard, and just be like, hey guys, there's SHIB or there's MRI on PulseChain. And then again, people, whether you like Richard, whether you don't know about him, if I heard that there was Hex on Phantom, right, and I had it, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go over and see what it's about. And then suddenly you see, 3-second blocks, you see penny gas fees, and you're like, oh wow, it's the same code and it's the same ticker. And I think, it will be just like, the roof will cave in a good way, and hopefully people will be flooding over there with their NFTs and everything like that.
And if you think about it, I mean, even if we take 5 or 10% of Ethereum users, that's still a huge amount. These other chains launched empty and have done super well with launching empty. So I think even if you take a small percentage of the users, or just a small percentage of the people come across to look at their coins, it's still like really, really bullish for the ecosystem, and more and more people will eventually come across. And you're right, like things like Shiba I think is really important. I think they've got a really big Telegram. It's over 100,000 or something. So to get that kind of community across is really, really big.
Yeah, it takes one. I think it's going to be like the domino, effect, and one will fall and it will just go. It will go down. And fellow South African Michael Morton, I think he's watching actually. Shout out to him. I love his videos. He's done some.
Mike. Man, he's really cool.
He's really cool. He's done some great. We had a great chat on here too, and he's done some great videos on comparison, the price appreciation of other blockchains, and what it could do, and the median and all that stuff. And I don't want to shit on the other blockchains too much. Some of them have got a bit of utility. A lot of them are ghost chains, right? Let's call it how it is. And you're still seeing hundreds of X. So what can PulseChain do when? Again, we all know what it is. It's cheaper, faster, more efficient version of Ethereum. There's no reason why it shouldn't go crazy. And I'm not sure you saw my stream with Randy last week.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, he was
great stream, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he's a real character. I like Randy. I like his outlook. He was talking about how it's like a pressure cooker, right? And maybe it's good that we've had this 7, 8, maybe 9-month delay or whatever by the time it comes out, because people are just, it's like an elastic band, right? Like wound up or pulled back, and it's just going to spring out. And he's saying, a couple of 100x maybe in the first 60 to 90 days. So,
I mean, it's hard to fathom, but it's definitely possible. I do think Pulse, I mean, again, speculation, no real idea what's going to happen, but I do think PulseChain will probably pump in the beginning more than PulseX, because I think there still are some people that are going to do the trade who didn't get into PulseChain, as we kind of discussed earlier, who are going to do that trade, which should maybe have a little bit of an impact on the price. But I think even if PulseX dips, that's going to get bought up super quickly. And then I think we're going to get the multiplier effect, which is also where liquid loans comes in and stuff, where there's just this, money that's just going to, people are going to be buying and moving around between assets, and one's going to be pumping and other one's going to be pumping. And yeah, I think there's going to be a big multiplier effect across all the whole ecosystem.
Well, some people are arguing or getting into, just kind of banter like, oh, Pulse is going to rocket and PulseX is going to dip. And it's like, if you're holding all of it, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Who cares? Because in the long run, let's be honest, if something like Cake can do so well, or Uni Token, what can PulseX do? And even if it dips, buy the dip, right? And enjoy the run up in Pulse, if you're holding, obviously, both projects. But yeah, man, it's super, super exciting. What are you most bullish about in the whole ecosystem?
That's quite a tough question. I do still see myself as, a big HEX, not HEX maxi, but HEX is my golden goose. I love HEX. Everything I do is probably to pump my T shares to accumulate more T shares and things. But it's obviously been around for 2 years. So just the way, things work and the economic weight, and it'll take more economic energy to move that up. So probably PulseChain, if I had to choose one, most bullish on, just because simply I think Randy's point is really good, that we've been waiting so long, so that pressure cooker has been building up. There's a lot of people that are waiting to get into it who didn't get into it and things. So I think PulseChain would be my favorite if I had to pick one that's going to outperform everything else. But I as I said, and in the name JustHODL, I'm happy with my various bags. I'm going to sit on them all, and if one's pumping, the other one's going down, that's fine. And then I think that's where liquid loans will come into it, and those strategies that we've seen with like Haunted and things like that. And I actually like the flexible one, which is, I think, Red Squirrel and Hexican have both got kind of flexible ones, where if a coin is dropping a bit, you can then put some money into that, and so that kind of stuff's also pretty cool. So I'm just excited about the whole ecosystem. Hard to pinpoint one. Yeah,
man. There's so many, so it's kind of putting you on the spot. Sorry about that, but there's so many.
That's fine.
PulseX, you've got HEX, the savings account. Jexa, my colleague at Liquid Loans, he's got a great channel and he's done some takes on this. And if you're holding HEX, PulseX, Pulse, loan token, you're just holding the savings account, the central bank, the railway tracks, which is Pulse, the exchange, and every time someone uses one of these, you're getting paid. So you say obviously your name's JustHODL, but I'm sure you're going to be doing more than hodling, right? I'm sure you're going to be putting your money to work for you.
Yeah, so when it launches, I'm just going to stake everything possible. So I don't know what the quote is, but don't they say super wealthy people have multiple income streams, 7 or something like that? Yeah. And I think with this whole ecosystem, I think I counted the other day, it's 4 or 5 or something. So I'm just going to stake it all. We've got HEX is already one of those, PulseChain with the validator. Then we have PulseX, and we have Liquid Loans with the loan token, as well as the stability pool, and I think Mintra will also be a passive income stream. So there's just so many.
Yeah, there's so many to choose from, and this really is 2.0. Me and Randy were talking about this before. All you had was buy and hold or trade, and most people don't want to buy and hold because it's boring, right? Humans, we like to be active, we like to be doing stuff, so they trade and they get wrecked. Now, as we all know, I'm preaching to the converted here, to the choir, but you get into a good coin, you get price appreciation, and you can put that to work for you. Will you be using, like you said, you like a few of the liquid loan strategies. Will you be using any of those depending on what the markets are looking like?
Yeah, so as I said, I quite like Red Squirrels and Hexicats because of the flexibility, but I'm definitely not set on one strategy. I'd like to see how it all unfolds and watch to start with, but I'm definitely going to be using the protocol. It makes sense to do it. I don't want to sell my bags. I'd never have wanted to do it. It's really difficult to part way with, you get unit bias and things like that. You don't want to sell your crypto. It's the best performing assets out there. And I think I'm also super excited. This is something I haven't really done in crypto, which is I haven't really ever dabbled too much in the stable coins and things. A little bit of USDC, but I never really hold stable coins, and I actually don't really hold much in my bank account. And fiat wise, I'm one of those that every dollar needs to be put into crypto because it's an opportunity.
Needs to be working for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is risky because when everything goes down 80% and things, then you are sometimes left in a position where you have to sell a little bit, or and you don't want to. But with liquid loans, I think what this is going to give me with the stability pool is I want to build up a position of USDL and then put that in, and it's going to be put to work by putting it into the stability pool. And I think that gives you, I like to have flexibility, and I think that gives you flexibility because you can park that in the stability pool and, earn your loan token and things that you get from that. But then when you need, if the market, dips or you need some money, you also have some stable coins that you could then cash out really quickly or attack, you can, buy into something now. If I had more stablecoin right now, I'd be buying HEX because, 80% dip with the 4 coming. It's just a no-brainer. So I think it'll allow people like me who puts every dollar really into crypto to be, I want to have a healthier portfolio by having some stable coins which are earning yield at the same time. So yeah, super excited about that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's great. I'm kind of like you. I don't want to really hold any fiat, just enough to pay bills and, get by. But then again, it can be risky, putting all your salary into a volatile asset that can obviously, go down quite a bit and go up quite a bit, but there's risk either way. So the stability pool is great because, as you probably know, you can add stability. You're going to get Pulse from the liquidated vaults. You're going to get incentivized with a loan token. And also you can take it out whenever you want and then buy something else, or maybe change it into fiat if you need it. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I think I'm with you on that as well. I think I'm going to be doing a lot more stability coins.
That's healthy,
liquid loans. Yeah. And a little bit less worry as well, because again, we all believe these projects, we're all bullish macro on these projects, right? But of course, there's volatility in the game. And especially at the beginning, there'll be a lot of trading going on. You sacrificed for liquid loans. Am I right?
I did. Yes. Yeah, I did.
Okay. And did you lock up? Did you want to reveal?
Yeah, I mean, I actually did a decent chunk for liquid loans. I know some people didn't do as much, but I ended up doing half of what I did for PulseX and PulseChain. But what I did is I went through a pool. So I'm hoping to get the 2x multiplier on that.
Nice.
And then that half turns into basically I sacrificed the same USD economic value wise for all 3 of the projects. So really bullish on liquid loans. But yeah, I didn't do a lockup because the pool I went through didn't have the lockup period. So that's one of the things I'm like, maybe I should have done some lockup. But yeah, I'm going to be all out there on day 1, staking that straight away.
Yeah, I think the loan token is, the clickening happens with a lot of people about obviously never selling your Pulse. And of course, it's amazing. Anyone watching this channel probably realizes that Pulse is going to be amazing. It's an EVM compatible blockchain, faster, cheaper, all that good stuff. And the fact that you can never sell it is amazing. But the loan token, I think a lot of people were sleeping on it before and they didn't know what it did. And yeah, just by having that staked, you're collecting all those fees, right? Every time someone redeems or opens a vault, you're basically part of the central bank, and you're not even getting paid in the loan token. You're being paid in USDL or Pulse.
It's great.
So it could really be a very tasty passive income.
Yeah, and I know it's one of you guys speak about it quite a lot, and it's, I'm never going to sell my loan token. It's just, it makes no sense. That's just literally going to be my passive income generator that you can, every day or every week or however long you want to do it, you can go in there and, take the money out and buy more crypto or cash out or, put it into the stability pool or whatever you want to do. So for me, that loan token is a yield generating machine. It's almost like a T-share. I think you guys have used that analogy before. And so price is not even really relevant for me when it comes to, obviously price is still a bit relevant, but it's not really. I'm not looking at the loan token to make multiple X's. I'm looking at the loan token to just generate as much yield as possible, which I can then, reinvest, or I can cash out or whatever.
Absolutely. It really is the timeless T-share, right? There's no time lock on it. And everyone needs to do what they want to do. But in my opinion, it's not a trading token. The funny thing is, when you're getting good yield from a token, and obviously that token is being halved every year as well through the incentive to the stability pool, price will go up, because who doesn't want to get, a token that they can buy, stick in the stability pool and collect, USDL all day long. Personally, I think there's going to be more USDL being paid to the loan stakers, because there'll be more people opening vaults than redeeming, because obviously you get Pulse from the redeemers and you get USDL from new people coming into the system. So yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? Get in there, park it in there, and you're going to be there from day 1. So it'll be interesting to see, from day 1 compared to the people that came out, later down the line. We get this question all the time: what's better, to lock up or to go straight into the staking pool? And it's unknown, because we don't know how fast PulseChain's adopted. Or there's so many different metrics. But I think either way, either whether you lock up for a short time, a long time, or you go straight into the staking pool, a timeless T-share, man.
It's a win-win either way.
Exactly.
I probably should have been in the HEX community and the delayed gratification. Probably should have locked up some, but yeah, I'm a little bit tired of the word delayed gratification. So happy I don't have, happy I've got them all in day 1.
Yeah, you kind of get beaten over the head with it in this community quite a lot. And I think, it comes from Richard, which is good. It's true in any area of your life, right? learning a language, getting in shape, you know, accruing wealth. It doesn't happen overnight. You need delayed gratification. And when you first hear it, you know, you're like, oh, of course. But then after a while, you're like, yeah, I know, but I still want PulseChain to come out tomorrow, or I still want to see the hex price mooning. Listen, we all do. We're all here for a price appreciation. But I think going back to what you said, when you transitioned from being a Bitcoiner and, you know, an altcoin guy into the hex community, it's a different energy, isn't it?
And the community, I think, is the biggest thing. I've never seen a community or been involved in a community like this ever in my life. It's, you know, in the beginning, I was a little bit hesitant. I actually didn't want to follow too many of the Hexicans when I was first, you know, just researching and things. I wanted to not get too suckered into the cult-like, you know, people say cult-like kind of thing. Yeah. And eventually I did get suckered into it. And it's just, yeah, the best thing that ever happened to me. It's the community is incredible. And meeting a lot of them now that, you know, restrictions are over and things. So actually meeting people in person is great. And the UK community is growing and is super strong. And there's, you know, people that are streaming and yeah, I mean, the community is just crazy. We've got a conference going on at the moment in Las Vegas. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best things. And people will say it looks culty and things, which maybe from the outside it does. But they don't understand that's the power of network effects. And the community like this is so important. And I think we'll see it with PulseChain because of the community that's been built because of Hex and that is, you know, basically multiplied from Hex. I think we're going to see that. And PulseChain is going to have adoption much quicker than any of these other chains have had before. So yeah, really, really bullish about the whole ecosystem.
100%, man. I mean, it looks, I think anything where people are passionate from the outside looks culty, right? You hear this a lot in CrossFit, in martial arts, in sports, like, oh, these people are really cliquey and it's culty. But, and of course, you know, maybe things can go too far in certain, in certain, you know, circles. But if you're in a cult, a hex cult, and you're being told to delay gratification, you're being told to be patient and, you know, not trade, not wreck yourself with meme coins, that's a positive thing, you know. And Hex has helped a lot of people, you know, and like you said, it's now rippled out into the whole ecosystem with stuff like liquid loans, Mintra, Hedron, and people have taken Richard's ethos and they're infusing it into their projects, and they're making true DeFi projects, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, and you can see it with liquidity. They've got, what is it, 300 or 400 people in their Telegram, and you guys have got almost 10,000, I think, last time I checked. So what is that, like 20 or 30x more? Which is just goes to show that's the power of the community and the ecosystem that we've built. So yeah, I think a lot of projects are going to be super successful because of it. And look, there's also going to be, you know, we have to be wary. There's also going to be projects on PulseChain that are going to be absolute, you know, nonsense and scams and all that sort of stuff. But I trust the Hex community. I think we've got a really strong community. If there's anything that, you know, smells off, they'll quite quickly let everyone know. And then at the same time, we've all got to do our own research and use our own brains to kind of, you know, make the judgment. All of these, it's about kind of risk, you know, understanding what the risk is in each of them and taking calculated risks. Really, this space is about, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just jump in with both feet, as you know. I'm sure you've probably been in projects that have gone to zero, right? or been rugged. And I think the old ethos in crypto, especially with the furus, is they get you hyped up on a video and you're literally tripping over yourself to buy a coin right afterwards. Where the Hex community, and hopefully most of them, have got to like kind of, let's slow down, let's look at projects, let's look at the code. Obviously, I feel that can go a bit too far sometimes, as we've seen some toxic maximalism on Twitter sometimes. But on the whole, that's great. You should be questioning everything, because if you jump in with both feet in crypto, as you know, a lot of the time you can get burned. There'll be great projects coming on PulseChain, and there'll be rugs, because how can you stop it? It's open source code. It's like building a nightclub, right? And saying only like, you know, good people can come inside who are not going to start trouble. There's going to be idiots. There's always going to be some guy who gets drunk and starts a fight, or someone tries to steal something. You know, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be rug pulls and there's going to be some scams, but don't ape into stuff all the time. I heard Coffee Crypto talking about this on his channel, and he's like, nearly every time where I've like not researched properly and I FOMO'd into something, I've regretted it. Where if I'd taken the time to research more, read the white paper, look at the team, even if the price was running away from me, there'd be a dip where I could enter or get a good entry point. So hopefully, you know, that constant bombardment of delayed gratification will help a lot of Hexicans, you know, not get wrecked when it comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the fact that, you know, the Hex community's kind of scrutinized the projects that we've seen to the extent that they have, and in some cases not good, you know, I think that the whole maximalism thing is definitely not something that we want to see. We don't want to turn into what, you know, Bitcoiners were to Hex when Hex first launched. But the fact that we've seen that much sort of scrutiny shows that the Hexicans will dive deep on, or the community will dive deep on these projects. And I think quite quickly, if something is a scam and things, you know, it'll be well known within the community very quickly. And yeah, so I have faith in the community kind of using their own foresight and judging each project. But I also think that, you know, the pushback against some of the, you know, liquid loans, and we saw with Hedron and things like that has been a bit over the top. But it's not what we want to see. I don't know if they want to see a ghost chain, and these products and protocols are being, you know, designed to help boost the whole ecosystem and whole. You know, if they're successful, they'll pump all our bags. They'll pump HEX, they'll pump PulseChain, they'll pump PulseX. They'll make the whole ecosystem, you know, quicker to adopt. It'll increase adoption and all that stuff. So there's definitely a bad side to it, which I think I don't like to see. I've seen a lot of it on Twitter and things lately.
Yeah, the majority of people are great, right? But there's always a small minority. And from what I've seen, and it's not just, you know, the bad apples here, but in every area of society, is people that are out there building and creating and working hard haven't got time to be throwing shade or hate online, right? They're too busy working. And even if they probably don't think something is, you know, their cup of tea, they probably give them respect for building. The people that I see, you know, creating, and when I say you should question stuff, it's not about not questioning it, but you know what I mean? Blaming people and saying Hedron's a rug or liquid loans, you know, you got to be careful, this looks shady. The people that I see the majority of the time, they've got too much time on their hands, right? They're not doing anything. Where the people who are actually out there building and trying to create a better ecosystem for everyone, you know, you don't find Leonardo DiCaprio or Christian Bale online when a bad movie comes out saying, "Oh, this was a shit movie," you know what I mean, or something like that. And even if it was a bad movie, I mean, these people are winners and they're getting after it. And I think that the people that are throwing shade, it's fine to question stuff. Everyone should question stuff, and everything should be out in the open. But just throwing needless accusations around,
without facts and things.
Exactly. It's not only toxic, but it's ironic because, you know, the gatekept have become the gatekeepers. Hex was gatekept for so long. It still is, in a way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's happening. You know, the guys who are doing that, which, as you said, really is the small minority of people, but they are becoming, you know, gatekeepers of an ecosystem that's going to, or projects that potentially are going to pump their own bags. And yes, as we've said, there's going to be projects that aren't successful. But, you know, we need to let people, we don't want to stifle innovation. We want, you know, people to build. We want people to try different things, and some will work, some won't. You don't have to invest in all of it. You don't have to, you know, use anything, but, you know, don't just go onto social media and start throwing out accusations without any evidence about projects. It makes no sense. You don't have to invest. If you don't like a project, don't invest. If you see something that is worth raising that you think is a big red flag, you know, or is potentially scammy, then I think, yeah, that is good to question it and bring that up. But what we've seen lately is just being really baseless.
The funny thing is, whether you like these projects or not, like Hedron or liquid loans, if you hold Hex or you hold Pulse, it's going to pump your bags anyway. These are going to help the whole ecosystem.
Exactly.
And Richard said, listen, I can't do everything. Go out there and build cool stuff. So people are taking the bat and they're running with it. And again, you know, people should question it. People should do their own research. And I'm sure all these people will come around when they see Hedron working well. I think, like you said, a lot of the FUD with Hedron's dying out now. When liquid loans goes live, that will be just, you know, a thing in the past, in the rearview mirror.
Proof is in the pudding.
Exactly. I don't know if you saw this comment here, but people are calling for you to start streaming.
If PulseChain does well enough and I'm able to retire from a 9-to-5, I'll do it, R&B.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, the more streamers, the better. Listen, you're great. You come on camera. You've come on my channel before with Hex Turbo and Randy and a few of the other guys. But yeah, man, you're articulate. You know how to talk about PulseChain, Hex, the markets. You should definitely, you know, I know you've got a 9-to-5 and you're busy, but
that's not an excuse. I mean, I definitely could do it, and maybe I should. I know Lauren has been speaking about it, so I'll chat with her. We should do something.
Yeah. How was also the Hex meetup? I didn't get to go. Was it last weekend?
Yeah, last weekend. No, it was great. I mean, every time I go to those Hex meetups, they just really are cool to speak to like-minded people, to speak to people who don't think you're crazy, and to speak about, deeply about things that we sit all day on Twitter and Telegram and all these things that we know information about this project that, most just don't. So to have those conversations. And then I think just generally there's as I said, there's a personality trait, and there's definitely a common sort of trait amongst a lot of the Hexicans. So to just speak to people that are on the same wavelength as you and stuff is really great. And I love the meetups. I really am enjoying them. Yeah,
man. I think there's going to be another one. Did you hear Randy's coming to the UK? So it looks like we'll have hopefully another one. Hopefully Your Excellence is going to organize something, or we'll all get together or something like that.
So, yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Your Excellence, because she is the one who organizes all of these, and I can imagine it's a lot of admin. I'm not one for admin, so I'm happy it's not me. Thank you, Your Excellence.
Absolutely. Shout out to Your Excellence. You're amazing. And keep being the glue for the UK Hexagons. Your lady says he's not that busy, so maybe she's rugging you. But
yeah, look, I'm on Telegram and things and Twitter all day, so there's definitely time to do a stream.
Well, listen, dude, this has been really good, man. Like I said, I really enjoy talking to you. We've hung out on stream, we've hung out in person. Hopefully we get to hang out soon when Randy comes to London. Where can people find out more about you, or where can they contact you if they want to, hear your opinions or whatever?
Yes, I mean, probably the best place, Twitter and Telegram, and that's at JustHODL. So yeah, as you see on the screen. But yeah, I really appreciate you inviting me to be on. It's been great to chat with you, Matt, and wishing you and the team all the best. I think you're almost halfway through the sacrifice now, so ramping up towards the end, the bonding curve, and yeah, super excited to see the protocol working.
Me too, like a lot of people watching. But thanks, man. You'll have to come back on when PulseChain goes live. We'll catch up and see how our predictions fared.
Perfect. Will do. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, buddy. JustHODL, what a legend, what a gent. Guys, if you like that video, I've been looking at the analytics and a lot of people are lurking. You're watching, but you're not subscribing. So smash that red subscribe button and that bell icon so you're notified every time we drop new videos and content on the channel. Also, as JustHODL just said, can't get my just out there, we've got the sacrifice phase coming into the final furlong. I think there's about less than 2 weeks now. So you can still beat the bonding curve by locking up your tokens. So for more info, do head over to thesacrifice.io. And if you do have any questions, jump into our Telegram, t.me/liquid loans. Thanks guys for watching. Share the video with someone who you think it may benefit. Maybe smash the like and drop a comment below for the algo. It does help us out. I hope everyone is having a good week so far. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.